It's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. So welcome, welcome, guys. It is Monday, February 24th. It's actually the last Monday of the month. There's, of course, 28 days in February, shortest month of the year. So this is the last Monday night mindset call that we have. And on this call, I still haven't locked into what I want to talk about the last probably 2 weeks, or some of the suggestions that you guys have been given on what it is that you wanted to discuss. And we're jumping that in the beginning of March. So I definitely want to be in a certain space and have all of my tools to lock into that. So today, what we're going to go into, it's honestly, take my scarf off. It's honestly something, I actually sat down with a friend of mine recently, and we were discussing this, right? And there was a lot of things when it came to your imagination. There were a lot of things when it came to or comes to manifesting, when it comes to achieving, when it comes to realizing our goals. And many times when we jump on these calls, there's different steps, right, that I would give you guys. This call is probably going to be a little bit different, just by the nature of where I am right here at the moment. It's going to be a little different. So it's not going to be the same as far as bullet points and things like that. There may be some things you can take away as bullet points. However, that is not going to be what I'm sharing. More so experience, more so things I've lived through, right? Other people's experiences as well. So when it comes to achieving one's desire, and this is very similar to what we talked about, I believe, 2 weeks ago, not last week, but the week prior. So 2 weeks ago. And we talked about manifestation, talked about desire, talked about getting into a certain space, a certain mindset to achieve what it is that you want to achieve. And in talking to my brother, talking to this and having this conversation, I realized sometimes the thing that we're seeking, yes, we understand the thing I'm seeking is seeking me, right? That's a basis of everything that we do, of building business, trading, manifesting something, bringing forward something in life. What we're looking for is looking for us. Absolutely. The thing now is getting to that place. And this is what I'm going to share with you guys. This is what I'm going to share with you guys. Because a lot of things that we talked about thus far this year, right? A lot of those things come to this. Oh, sweet. I couldn't have made it better myself. It is right here. I had it left up on my computer. So this is something that we went through, right? And I don't really go through scriptures that much, but some things are just truly profound. Some things I just feel like we have to understand as a whole. So I'm going to read this to you, and I'm going to go in what I've experienced and what my brother, what he's experienced, just in conversations that he and I have had, talking about manifestation, talking about imagination, and really seeing things come to fruition, and then walking through those stages. All right, let's see. There we go. So we're gonna start right here before it, right? I'm just gonna read this part right there. I highlight it. Can't highlight it. All right. Oh, there we go. Got some highlight love. All right. So therefore, since the promise of entering his rest, they're talking about the rest of God, right? The rest of a creator. So we're gonna say in this aspect what we're talking about, we're talking about God as the creator. And we're looking at ourselves as creators, right? So that's the basis. Therefore, since the promise of entering his rest still stands, let us be careful that none of you be found to have fallen short of it. Fallen short of what? Fallen short of the rest. Somebody in the chat, please type in rest. Somebody please type in rest in the chat. This is going to be my reference point because I literally have no notes for this. I'm just going off of what I feel led to share. So let us be careful that none of you on this call have found falling short of it. Falling short of what? Falling short of entering the rest. All right. For we also have had the good news proclaimed to us. So what is the good news? Right? Here's the good news. If I'm struggling trading, good news. This is a strategy that's going to help you to be profitable day in and day out. Right? If I'm having challenges in my business, if I'm not getting to the next level, if I'm struggling getting the platinum 2 and 3, I'm struggling getting the platinum 150, if I'm struggling getting the platinum 600, if I'm struggling to get the platinum 1000, I'm struggling to get to any level. If you came to me and said, hey, Keith, hey, Will, hey, Aisha, hey, Gabe, hey, Terrell, this right here, this thing right here that I'm going to share with you right now is going to help you to reach that level. So guess what that would be considered? That would be considered good news to you. If you needed money and somebody said, hey, here's $1,000, you're like, damn, man, thank you. You might cry, right? Because who knows what it is that you need. But that would be considered good news. So we all on the page. Like if you're looking for something and someone says, hey, this is going to help you to solve that challenge you're having, that will be considered good news. If everybody's with me on understanding good news, let me get a 777 in the chat. Let me get a 777 in the chat if we understand we're on the same page that that will be considered good news to you. Then we'll keep rocking. Cool, 777. All right, sweet. So that's the good news. So it says, for we also have had the good news proclaimed to us, just as they did. But the message they heard was of no value to them because they did not share the faith of those who obeyed, right? So it says faith was missing between the people who heard it and that message had no value to them and the people who obeyed it, right? It says because they did not share the faith of those who obeyed. What does that mean? That means the people who obeyed believed more. The people who obeyed believed more, right? The people who obeyed the word of what? Entering into the rest. Those people had a different level of faith. Those people have a different level of belief. And no matter what it is that we're doing, belief and faith make all the difference. They make all the difference. I've been in sales many years in my life. And being in sales, if I feel like when a person comes into my store, my establishment, if I feel like they're not going to buy from me, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to buy. Why? Because I already have a belief that they're not going to buy. So when they don't buy, it's not a surprise, or it shouldn't be a surprise. But that causes us to check our belief, right? And again, this has everything to do with manifestation. This has everything to do with walking out the process of getting to where it is you desire to go. It's everything. I promise you. It is everything. All right, so moving on. Then it goes on to say, now we who have believed enter that rest, just as God said. So I declared an oath in my anger, they shall never enter my rest. Right? So, and this is the rest they're talking about, right? It says, and yet his works have been finished since the creation of the world. For somewhere he has spoken about the seventh day in these words. On the seventh day, God rested from all his works. And again, in the passage above, it says, they shall never enter my rest. If you know anything about the story of creation, it talks about he created the heavens and the earth from days 1 through 6. On day 7, he entered into rest. He entered into a rest. And we're talking about God being a creator, just as we are creators. Now, on the seventh day, he rested. So that shows me as being smaller versions of the creator. There should be at some point in our manifestation, there should be at some point with our level of belief, there should be at some point that we rest, right? That we rest. So let's define it. You know how I like to do. Meaning of rest. Meaning of rest. Entering into that rest. And we're going to look at it from a couple different perspectives, right? So here's rest. Here's rest right here. To cease work or movement in order to relax, refresh oneself, or recover strength. Recover strength. In the process of creating, in the process of working day in and day out, in the process of moving from one level to the next level, it requires what? Energy. But guess what? The physical body gets tired. The mind gets tired. Our spirits don't get tired, but our body gets tired. Our mind gets tired. So at some point, we have to, as creators, as God did, rest, which means to cease work or movement. That's actually what I did yesterday, right? I rested yesterday. There was still a level of work, but I rested yesterday because it was necessary. But we have to get to the place where we can cease work or movement in order to relax. And when we're talking about movement, I'm not even just talking about physical movement. Because if you understand how everything works, if there's a physical movement, guess where there's also movement? There's a movement in your mind. There's movement in your emotion, right? You're emotionally moved. You're mentally moved. Then you're physically moved. So to cease the work, to cease the movement in order to relax, that means we have to stop processing. We have to stop thinking so much. But guess what? Thinking is still movement. Just because you don't pick it up with your hands doesn't mean you haven't picked it up. If somebody says, "Hey, I'm gonna meet you over in Cali on the 25th, sometime between 5 and 7 p.m. Cali time," you get there at 5. Now what are you doing? Waiting. You're cool because they'll be there between 5 and 7. 6 o'clock rolls around. You're like, "Oh man, they're late. Oh man, they should be here by now." Why? Because you're moving. You're mentally moving, which is causing you to emotionally move. Now you're getting concerned. You're getting worried. You're texting them. You're hitting them up. They're trying to handle some work, right? They're still working. 6:30 rolls around. You're like, "Oh man, it's getting close to 7. Oh man, it's getting close to 7. What am I going to do?" Why? Because you're still moving. You're still moving. And that's the thing. When do we cease the movement? Because if I'm constantly moving because I'm worried, if I'm constantly moving because I'm concerned about the next moment, When do we ever have a time to refresh? When do we ever have time to relax? Because it says to rest, it says to cease work or movement in order to relax, to refresh oneself, to recover strength. Why do we need to relax? Because again, because the body gets tired, because the mind gets tired. Imagine thinking, trying to process something for 24 hours straight. You go to sleep, but you're not resting because your mind's still what? Moving. You get up and guess what? You're still in the same thought. Now you're going out there trying to act out on that thought. So you don't get to where you want to get to that day. What do you do when you go to sleep? Same thing. Moving mentally, processing constantly. When do you stop? You don't stop. That's the thing. We think we stop because we're sleeping, but are you resting? Right? Are you resting? Are you resting? Look at this next definition. Look at the next definition. The next definition for rest is to be placed or supported as to stay in a specified position. Placed as to stay in a specific position, a specified position. Supported as to stay in a specified position. So that takes me to what is supporting us? What are our mental habits that are supporting us? What are our emotional habits that are supporting us? What I mean supporting us? Supporting means it's holding you up. So when you get in a place of concern, you can still rest. You get in a place of, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what time they're going to pick me up. I don't know what time I'm going to be getting to the platinum 600 level. I don't know when I'm going to get to the platinum 1000 level. I don't know when I'm going to get to $200 a day trading. I don't want to get to $300 a day trading. I don't know when I'm going to get to $1,000 a day trading. But we learn to rest. Why? Well, understanding our strategy says we get what? We get paid to wait. Guess what that means? Guess what our strategy says? That we're resting most of the time. We're waiting for things to set up. We're waiting for things to get into the perfect position. And I don't believe in perfection, but there's a certain position we're looking for things to be in, right? We're looking for a flawless entry. Not a perfect, but flawless. But what do we got to do to get there? We got to wait. We got to rest. So that means that we understand our strategy so much that I can rest 65% of the time or 75% of the time. Then when it's time to strike, we attack, right? There's a great movie I suggest all of you guys watch. We watched it before as a group, The Peaceful Warrior. What does it say? It said, what if I told you that your whole life, that's at this moment, that your whole life was about this, about finding the right refuge or learning to apply the right leverage at the right time. What does that mean? You're waiting for that moment. You're waiting for the leverage to line up. You understand we trade on leverage in the market, right? 50 to 1, 100 to 1, 200 to 1, 500 to 1. That's leverage. We're waiting for things to line up so we can stack the cards in our favor, waiting for the leverage to line up. But how do we get to that? We rest. Same thing with business, right? You're out there contacting people. You're doing your 3 appointments. You're doing your 3 ways. Someone says, hey, you know what? I'm not sure if I'm ready to get started yet. What do? Do you mentally pick it up? Do you emotionally pick it up? Do you sit there and think about it and process it until they give, oh no, man, I think I want to do it. Now you're wrestling with them getting started mentally. You're wrestling with people getting started emotionally. What'd you do? You rest. Why do you rest? Because if the creator rested, why wouldn't you rest? All right, hold on, guys. I'm going to mute somebody out. All right, there we go. Somebody was unmuted. Cool. Galaxy S10 raised their hand. If you got a question, feel free to type it into the chat. All right, let's go. So we rest. But why do we rest? So let's go back. Why? Because we're learning how to move as a creator. That's why we rest. It says on the 7th day he rested. But what are we talking about? Entering into his rest. right? It says, therefore, since the promise of entering his rest still stands, let us be careful that none of you have been found falling short of it, falling short of rest, falling short of resting. Let none of you be found falling short of resting. What does that mean? Stop picking things up that you don't need to pick up. Stop talking about things you don't need to talk about. Stop talking about whatever that is not in line with what you desire, not in line with what you've imagined, not in line with your 30-day goal, what's not in line with your 90-day goal. If it's not in line with your 12-month goal, don't pick it up verbally. Don't pick it up mentally. Don't pick it up emotionally. Oh, well, how do I do that, Keith? How do I not pick it up emotionally? You don't give attention to it. You don't give attention to it. If your coworker's stressing you, somebody close to you stressing you, you don't give them attention. So there's a principle that says whatever we give attention to shall live. Whatever we remove our attention from shall die. Whatever we remove our attention from shall die. So if that's the case, we should be learning to rest more. I mean, we should be learning to rest instead of constantly finding ourselves doing something. Uh, when people are moving towards success, right? And you hear a lot of people, yes, you'll work, right? You're putting the time, you're putting the effort. You hear Kobe talking about it. You hear Will Smith talking about it. You hear Jordan talking about it. You hear these people talking about doing the things they got to do day in and day out. And absolutely, we're going to work. But when do you rest? One thing they talk about, and Kobe talked about this, he said in his career, he didn't become a really good player, a great player, until he's learning the benefit of resting. Isn't that amazing? Getting your 6 to 8 hours of sleep a day. I mean, I feel like we all need 8, but 6 to 8, right? 6 to 8 hours of sleep. We got to make sure we're getting our rest. But that's just physical rest. Because a lot of us go to sleep for 6 to 8 hours, but our minds are still going. We're not resting mentally, right? We're still tapped into emotionally into things that we don't really understand, so we're tapped into. What is it? What am I saying? Somebody cut you off in traffic and you go to sleep thinking about it, you're still emotionally tied to it. If someone said, no, I'm not ready to get started right now, and you're still thinking about it when you go to sleep, you're mentally tied to it. You're emotionally tied to it. So when do you let that go? So you're not entering into the rest. You're not entering into the rest that what? It's already done. That's the rest. It's already done. It's already done. Whatever your 30-day goal is, guys, just say your 30-day goal to yourself. Just say it out loud. You don't gotta unmute yourself. Just say it to yourself. Whatever your 30-day goal is, I'm gonna give you 5 seconds. Go ahead, say your 30-day goal to yourself right now. My 30-day goal is Platinum 1000. My 30-day goal was $10,000 in my trading account. Right, that's my 30-day goal. So yes, by taking these trades, whether you win or lose a trade, you still got to enter into the rest. Why? Because if I keep picking it up mentally, I'm never going to get there. Because I'm so concerned. I got to get to this number. I got to get to these people. And you're not allowing things to move. Right? So it says, let us be careful that none of you be found falling short of it. Falling short of entering into the rest. Let us not be found short, falling. Let us not be found falling short of it. There we go. So then it goes on to say, I'm going to get to your questions in a moment. Then it goes on to say that we proclaim the good news, or the good news is proclaimed to us, right? We were taught that imagination works. Great, that's the good news, right? Whatever we're looking to achieve, desire, belief, imagination can get us there. That's the good news. That is the good news. So from there, who's achieving their goals, right? What would be the difference in those who are achieving their goals, understanding imagination, and those who are not? It's right here, right? It says, but the message they heard was of no value to them. Why? Because they did not share the faith of those who obeyed it. What does that mean? It wasn't mixed with faith. It wasn't truly mixed with faith. What? Okay, here we go. Right. So, what is the meaning of faith? Right. Let's find that out. So, faith. Here we go. What is the meaning of faith? We're gonna figure it out right here. Meaning of faith. Right. Complete trust or confidence in something or someone. Complete trust or confidence in something or someone. So, if we're not completely trusting, we don't completely have confidence in the process, guess what? We're not resting. We're not resting. I was under the weather, right? For the last week. What was part of my challenge? What was part of the issue for me to being healthy? What was it? Resting. So I rested last week. But we have to get to that place mentally, right? We have to get to that place emotionally. We have to learn how to enter into the rest. Just like the physical body needs rest, so does our mind. The mental part of us needs rest. The emotional part of us needs rest. If people are tugging on you all day, or at least 10 hours a day, you got to detox, right? You got to unwind. And not pulling on you in a bad way. You may be a teacher, or a leader, a pastor, whatever, right? But people are pulling you on in that way. You got to learn to enter into the rest. What does that mean? I have to let it go. I have to let it go mentally. And sometimes that's the challenge. It's like, I got to help people. I really want to help people. I want to see people succeed. I want to see people move forward. I want to see people go to the next level. But guess what? At some point, as a leader, you still have to rest. Because you know what? Whoever wants it is going to take the action. So you got to rest. And I'm talking to myself too, right? You got to rest. The more you do is going to help somebody, but that's not what's going to cause that person to go to the next level. You know what's going to cause them to go to the next level? What we're talking about. Their belief, understanding the imagination, that's the power of God that's within us. But then at the same time, them entering into rest, understanding that every single action that I take is moving me forward. Every single action that I take, even when, okay, I lost that trade. You know what? That person didn't get started, but it's still moving you forward. How's it moving you forward? Because you're going to understand a better way to do it the next time. So what do? You enter into rest. It doesn't affect you emotionally. It doesn't affect you mentally. And then we have to make sure that we're adding faith, right? Like this is something you'll never get away from, right? No matter what you do in life, no matter what you do, whether you're spiritual or not, right? It's kind of hard to be spiritual and be a spirit, but that's another conversation, right? You're never going to get away from this in life, right? It says, here we go, do it again. We'll go back to verse 2. But it said, for we also have heard the good news proclaimed to us, just as they did. But the message they heard was of no value to them. Why? Because they did not share the faith of those who obeyed. They did not mix it with faith, right? The thing that they were doing, they didn't add faith to what it is that they were doing, right? To when it comes to catching these pips, adding faith to it. Okay, so what are we talking about? Adding faith. Where is it? Oh, let me go. Where's faith? There we go. So when it comes to catching pips, what are we adding? Complete trust or confidence in someone or something. So what is the something we're relying in? Our strategy. You're not relying on me. You're not relying on me. I'm a messenger. I'm delivering the strategy, right? But we're locking into the strategy. But if when I have complete trust and confidence in the strategy, guess what? That's when it works. That's when it works. When I have complete trust or confidence in the process of piquing interest, following up, three-way call, getting them to an online event, then getting them to a live event, maybe even a major event like over in London we're having, right? But there's other events going on, but getting them going through that process day in and day out, and then what? You rest. Check this out, right? And also part of that is the faith, right? We only enter into rest because we have faith, complete trust or confidence in someone or something. So we have complete trust and confidence in the process of getting to 2 and 3, platinum 1,000, platinum 600, platinum 2,000, chairman 10, chairman 100, chairman 500. We have to have complete trust and confidence that if, as we're following this process, as we get someone on the phone with our leader, as we get someone in front of the chart, seeing the product, as we get someone in front of that, that we have the complete trust, the confidence that that thing is going to bring forth our desired end. That's faith, right? But that was the missing ingredient for the people who are achieving and the people who are not. I feel like it's a joke sometimes when I hear people say that certain people succeed because of whatever they had, right? So my favorite artist, you can call him a secular artist, right? Jay-Z is my favorite artist, hands down. To go from hustling to selling CDs to becoming a number one artist, didn't been doing it for 10, 15, 20 plus or years, you know what I mean? His whole career. What does that take? You think it's just skill? It's not just skill. There's faith involved. Because what happens, this is, I am is a new product, right? You share this with people who you know, just like he shared his CDs with his people who he knew. Everybody had to start selling mixtapes, right? Everybody's not going to buy your mixtape. Everybody's not going to get started, but the people who do, do. So we enter into what? The rest. We don't get tied up in the process of who gets started and who doesn't get started because they're our friend, because they're our family, because they're our cousin, because they're our coworker, because they're my best friend's baby mom and her cousin, and that, like, it doesn't matter, right? None of that matters because we're entering into the rest. The process takes care of itself because we're mixing it with faith. We're mixing it with what? Complete trust and confidence. When we're trading, when we're understanding our strategy, if we don't understand the M's and W's, right? If we can't look at a chart, if we can't do this, boom, we can't pull up a chart, boom, right here is a W, right? I didn't take this because I was tired today, but it went up 90 pips. I was out of it, right? It's all good. Why? Why is it all good? Because I have complete trust and confidence in the strategy that I'm trading. I miss a 90 pip move. Guess what's going to happen tonight? Another 90 pip move. But if we're not able to see it, right? That's where the skill comes in. But the faith comes in when you are actually, and I'm going to show you on the chart, right? I don't normally do this on this call, but I'm going to show you, right? But the complete faith and trust comes in with this, right? So here, it's not perfect, but that guy right there is a W. We throw it on a line chart, there's a W, right? There's a W. Right here is a shift. Then we're going back to what we're talking about, right? Right there is a shift. There's a shift. This next candle we would have been in right here. If you don't understand, that's okay. That's just a process, right? The next candle would have been right here. We would have got in. Our stop loss would have been down here. 40 pips. Nice stop. But where did it push? Where did it push? I'll show you. It pushed. First push, 50 pips. Pull it back close to the entry. Now it's up 78 pips, right? But what does that come from? Complete trust and confidence. I'm not saying it. It said faith, right? It says because they did not share the faith of those who obeyed. They didn't have complete trust and confidence in entering into God's rest. They didn't believe it. But it says, now we who have believed enter that rest, just as God said, right? So now we who have believed enter into that rest. Who wants to be able to be in the market, catch 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 pips a day with no stress? Who wants to be able to help people to get started? And I am. You got a new person starting every single week, right? Every single week, you have one new customer getting started, one new business partner getting started into your business every single week. Who's ready for that? Let me get a 555 in the chat. Who's ready for that? Who's ready to enter into that rest? Who's ready to enter into that rest? The rest where it's like, hey, you know what? These pips are just taking care of themselves. It's just coming to me. People are just getting started. People are just asking me questions. People are just wanting to know more information about what it is that we have going on. Entering into that rest. Like I said, the skill is just part of the process. It's like you go into your job every day. There's the skill. But we have to mix the faith, right? We have to mix the complete trust and confidence in someone or something, right? If you have your complete trust and confidence in me, fantastic. So I'm not gonna fail you. If you have your complete trust and confidence in the strategy, that's even better. That's what I'm following. I'm putting my complete trust and confidence in the strategy. And that's all I talk about, right? So we're all on the same page. The complete trust and confidence in inviting someone to an event, right? Piquing their interest, right? Complete trust and confidence in what? Complete trust and confidence in going through that 5-step process, right? Complete trust and confidence. Let's see. Do I have it? Do I have it? Do I have it? I put it in the chat. Right, that's right here, right? This thing right here. It says something that we got called right here. The phrase that pays, right? That phrase that pays. If you guys are in the Telegram chat, this is complete trust and confidence in understanding that. Understanding what he's talking about, right? And it's a phrase we use all the time. It's a phrase we use all the time. And I think my computer just went out, but it's all good. But like I said, having complete trust and confidence in that. There we go. It's coming back on. A little technical difficulty, but it's all good. Let me resync to my computer. One moment. So you guys can see my screen again. All right, there we go. So now you can see my screen again. But again, complete trust and confidence in that process. Complete trust. That means if you have another idea that's different than what it is that we're doing, hey, express it. Express it. So we can get to the point to get you to enter into rest, right? Let's get to the point where you can get you stop mentally questioning, stop emotionally wanting to do it. Oh, I feel like it's this way. Great. I appreciate your feelings. But let's lock into what works, right? Same thing with the trading. We got to get to the point where we enter into rest. And I don't mean rest where it's like, oh, we lost 5 trades in a row. If we lose 5 trades in a row, I guarantee you something is absolutely wrong. If we lose 5 trades in a row, I don't know if anybody on this call has lost 5 trades in a row with me. I've never lost 5 trades in a row on my own. So I highly doubt y'all lost it with me. But the point of what I'm saying is complete trust and confidence in what it is that we're doing, right? That's the only way we're going to overcome, the only way we're going to achieve. So going back to that, right? That's how we enter into the rest. As it says, that's how we enter into that, what do they call that? Sabbath rest. For the people of God, right? We all come from God. So we can nip that in the bud, right? No matter what race, religion, culture, where are you from, North America, South America, any continent, North, what is it? North Pole, South Pole, whatever. We're all people of God, right? So we nip that in the bud. But we got to enter into the rest. If we're looking to have and achieve, right, what? That good news that's proclaimed to us. If we're looking for the good news that whatever's going on right now, challenges mentally, physically, emotionally, that good news is only going to do us good when we mix it with faith, right? Yes, Forex is a 5.4 trillion, 5.8 now, $5.8 trillion industry daily. Listen, all I want to do is extract $10,000 a day. That's all I need. 10,000 a day. I can get more than that, but that's all I need is 10,000 a day. That's 50 grand a week, 200 grand a month, $2.4 million a year, right? That's really all I require. Anything more is fantastic. But that would be the good news that's proclaimed to me, right? But what about the process of as I'm learning this skill set? Oh man, I lost a trade. Oh, I lost $300 on this trade. I was trading a standard lot. Great. So let's go to the next trade. I don't know. There goes the emotion, right? You're still holding on to that last trade emotionally. So that means you haven't entered into the rest of you achieving the success that you desire. You know what? I lost a couple of dollars on that last trade. That last person didn't get started. I don't know about talking to the next guy. And that next guy could be the guy. That next gal could be the girl. That next couple you talk to could be the couple to help you to get to platinum 600, platinum 1000, platinum 2000. You never know. You don't know someone's situation and circumstance. All you can do is put the opportunity in front of them. All you can do is put the opportunity in front of them. And then do what? Sit back. We get paid to wait. Guys, we get paid to wait for people to get started. We get paid to wait. Yeah, we do our best to show them what it is we have. But they'll get started when they're ready to get started. Right? We can show people, hey, I can help you earn an additional $600 a month with 12 customers. Help you to earn an additional $1,000 a month with 30 customers. So that would be good news, right? If somebody's struggling with their bills, guess what $600 a month is going to do? That's going to be life changing. How do I know it? Because there was a study, and I'll see if I can find it for you. But there was a study done that couples who are about to go through a divorce, people who are on the verge of going bankrupt, they said if they had at least an additional $500 more a month, it would have changed their life. 12 customers, guys. $600 a month. What would that do for you? What would that do? What bills would that take care of? Or maybe you could just save it. An extra $7,000 a year. Why? For helping 12 people to get started. Entering into rest as we're going through this process. Right? Getting your trading credit at 10 grand. Why 10 grand? 10 grand is a sweet spot. Because at 10 grand, you could easily earn 3 to 5 grand a week. But we got to enter into the rest to get to that place. Right? This good news that you're hearing right now, guess what you got to mix it with? Faith. What is faith? Complete trust and confidence in someone or something. So we got to let go of the ego, right? You know, ego is in the mind. You know that, right? You know, ego is in the mind. Why? Because someone says something to you and you challenge it. Guess where you challenge it? You don't challenge it emotionally. You challenge it mentally. If I say, hey, I can help you earn $500 a day, you're like, please. Guess what you just did? You mentally challenge it. So that's where it is. It's in the mind. So this complete trust and confidence, guess what we have to do? We got to rest mentally. Let go of what we understand. Let go of what it is that we've been doing for the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years, whatever the number is, right? But that's what's going to get us to our goal. That's what's going to get us to that space. That's what's going to get us to that level where we never have to work again. We never have to rely on another job, another day in our life. But it's locking in, building the skills. And after we build the skills, we hear what's the good news. We enter into that rest. We don't pick it up mentally every time there's a challenge. We don't pick it up emotionally every time we get scared. We don't pick it up. Why? Because we're entering into the rest. And guess what the body needs? Rest. Rest, recuperation, relaxation. Like I said, Kobe Bryant said it. He said he did not become the player he became until he learned to get enough rest. He said he was struggling when he was first year or two in the league, trying to get to the next level, by working. He was a beast when it came to working out, being in the gym. His work ethic was like none other. But he said he didn't overcome until he learned to rest. And I'll add the audio in the chat so you guys can see it. But he learned to rest. And guess what he did? He meditated. It's something I listened to recently on YouTube that said he went into meditation. If you guys don't know, I'm going to tell you, meditation is rest. It is. Meditation is rest. You're resting your mind. You are resting your mind. Try to see if I can find better definition. Sorry. A little parched. Need some water. But I'll find that so you guys can see it. But that's entering into the rest, guys. Entering into the rest. So there were a couple of questions here. Let me get to the questions before we close out. So resting, getting paid to wait. Here's the question. So it's like a tiger waiting for its prey. One doesn't strike when it's far. It strikes when it's right. Is that right? It's absolutely right. Watching tigers, cheetahs, that's exactly what they do. They wait. They rest. Until things line up, the leverage is in their favor, then they strike. So yes, great question. But that's exactly what it is. Let's see, there was another question in the chat. This question. Let's see, it says the part where we give reactive resistance, is that where we slow it down to gain true clarity? It's not even necessarily about the resistance. It's just understanding that rest is part of the process. But yeah, if you're getting reactive resistance, meaning that you feel like you're bumping your head up against the wall, probably need to rest. If you feel like, hey, I'm not getting it, I've been on this chart all night, cool, close the laptop, put the phone down, because we got to enter into the rest. When we enter into the rest, guess what comes back? Clarity. Clarity comes. You can see things clear. You can see things better when we rest. And that's even, like I said, that's anything, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, however you want to put it, right? Enter into the rest. But like I said, meditation is definitely a big part of that. And I'll put some things into the chat when it comes to meditation as well, because that's something that I'm big on. Just silencing the thought, right? That's how I look at meditation. Silencing the thoughts, getting to stillness, getting to nothingness. When we get to that stillness, we're able to get to that nothingness, then we can truly see, right? We can truly see the market when we gain the clarity. We can truly see the market when we're quieted our mind enough. We can truly see that person who said no to you really wanted to get started, but maybe the energy that you were feeling at the time, that intensity to get them started, they kind of pushed them off. Maybe they just had something going on. Maybe they were stressed. Maybe they were unsure, right? But you being in a place of rest, you being in a place of comfort, like, listen, man, whatever you want to do, when you start it today, tomorrow, or if you feel like it's not for you. But either way, I'm going to build this thing. Either way, I'm going to create $1 million of revenue in the next year, whether you're a part of it or not, right? But no rush. But just understand this is what it is we're doing, right? You can say those statements when you enter into the rest because you're not worrying about where it comes from. You're not worrying about, okay, who's going to get started? Where are they going to get started? Where am I going to put them on my team? What trade am I going to catch to make this next $1,000 this week? We're not concerned about that. You're concerned of what? Resting, believing, having the faith, and resting. That's what we're focused on. Everything else is going to come. Because guess what? Guess who gets pulled over on the highway? My connection's going out. Guess who gets pulled over? People who are speeding. Guess who doesn't? The people who are resting. People who are chilling. People who are just taking their time. Why? Just like we all do. We get paid to wait, right? Especially for us in the market, especially for us when we're building a business, especially as we're moving forward, you get paid to wait. So entering into the rest, guys, that's what it is. That's what we talked about. That was the topic for today. Entering into his rest, God's rest, meaning the rest of the creator. With us being creators, we should operate no differently. We got to enter into rest. Got to enter into rest. But that's it, guys. That's really what I want to share with you guys. If anybody has anything they want to share, feel free. I'm going to go ahead and mute out. The floor is yours.
I like this call. I like this call in particular because can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You loud and clear.
Okay, great, great. I like this call. It reminds me of one who composes music, right? When one composes a song, at some period they have that rest there, like that A B or something like that, and then a rest, and then they go on to the next beat, and then they rest. It doesn't have to be so intense all the time as much may portray it. But I definitely like this call, man. I think that's a really fresh perspective on I guess in a sense slowing things down a little bit and stepping back, so to speak, man. I like it, dude. Thank you.
Absolutely, my brother. Thank you for your comment. It's important. You know, when we're able to sit back, we can reflect, we can refine, we can see things from a different perspective. So thank you, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, 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 definitely, man. My takeaway was it's okay to take a rest.
Yes, sir. Anybody else before we close out for the evening? If not, no worries. I don't want to give it a going once, going twice, third time. All right, ladies and gents, appreciate you guys for being here. Appreciate you guys tapping into, locking into our Mindset Mondays, building, garnering, achieving the mindset to help us to move to the next levels in business, in trading, and in life. Absolutely in life. So appreciate you guys for being here. You guys already know. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you are
But
here
you're
with
here, sir.
us. You already know, ladies and gents. Much love to you guys. We will be up for London session at 4 a.m. I am, like I said, rested, so I will definitely be ready for our London sessions tonight, tomorrow night, night before 4 a.m. We were going at it, attacking the market the best way we know. But much love to you guys. You have a great night. God bless. I'm stopping the recording.